Hello everybody. Hopefully we're live here. I think we're getting things up and running here. Took me a little bit longer than I expected to get set up, but I think we're in good shape here now. This camera does not look that great. It's a cloudy day here. Take the hat off. It's a cloudy day here this morning, Saturday, June 1st, in case you're watching the replay here. But we're here. We're going to track down a National Weather Service balloon here. Man, I wish this camera looked a little nicer here, because it's all gray looking and everything else. But hello everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning here. Let's see. Let me get... got video and sound. Awesome. Fantastic. Hey everyone. So sleepy. 5 a.m. for Alex Ziggyful. Wow. Yeah. Well, I was up pretty early. Not 5 a.m. early actually, but it's 8 o'clock here on the East Coast. Let's see. Hold on. We want to get. We're going to turn some camera features on here. You'll have to excuse the shakiness here. So I'm streaming from my tablet today after last weekend's let's see, cloudy. If I do that, does that look any better? It's a little bit brighter. Daylight, no. Auto, we'll just go auto. Okay, well, I guess that's about as good as you're gonna get. This is good as I'm gonna look today. Plus the clouds go away. So yeah, early morning here, we're getting ready. Let's see, I can shut this off now that I've confirmed that we're live. So yeah, it took me a minute to get started here today because I couldn't find a good spot to actually track this from, where we're up at high ground and also had the data bandwidth to actually stream live. Oh, there we go. Gregorius says auto is the most natural. All right, we'll leave it at auto here. Looks very gray on this screen, like and very dark, but we'll leave it right there at auto. Yeah, so it took me a while to get set up. I was kind of, if anybody was watching the APRS map of where my car was, I was all over the place, back and forth and back. I couldn't make up my mind, couldn't make a decision, but we're here. Oh, finally made it. We're set up here. We're pretty much on the side of the road. I'll show you the setup here today. It's pretty similar to what we had last weekend. Any guns shooting off today? No guns yet, at least. We should be okay on the gun front today. But we do have a whole bunch of truck work happening over this region there. Uh-oh, just lost me. Of course, I just bumped my radio receiver. Let's see. Let's plug this into the other one. The USB port on my computer is seen better days. And so if I bump it, it disconnects. And then I gotta restart the radio. But anyway, so here's our, we'll show you the setup here. Let me get up and get this thing back up and running here. I'll show you what we got, what we're hunting for. And one of my software applications, oh, okay, it's doing better now. It was not doing well when I first started, but we're better now. All right, let's get this thing situated here. Let's show you what we got going on and what we're tracking here. All right, so we're switch this camera around here. There we go. Can you see this? Or is this just black? Why does it just show black for me? Where is the camera? Oh, probably. Hold on. There you go. The back camera is behind my mount. So here's where we're located here. We got some, I don't know, truck work going on here. I don't know what's happening. They got, kind of looks like mulch or something. But we're in farm country again. Kind of at the top of a field here to try to get the best reception. We've got our giant parabolic antenna here that's set up at basically just at the back of my car here. But that guy is pointing at our weather balloon, which should be coming from that direction over there. That's the direction that we'll be watching, and it should land pretty close to where I am. The predicted landing spot was a little ways over there, like a mile or two that direction. But this is the highest point I could get to. So anyways, this antenna here is connected to the computer. We've got a just like we had Last weekend, we've got our SAW filter here, which I can flip around so you can actually see the name of it, but that's our Sawbird Plus. That's a SAW filter. And then this is an SDR. So the SAW filter, SAW stands for like surface acoustic wave, is that what it is? Or sound acoustic wave? Something like that. Somebody would have to look that up. Hopefully people in the little house don't feel spied on. Yeah, there is a little house there. Oh, and I got my safety light from last time. You guys all yelled at me last time because I didn't have a safety light. So now I've got my safety light and I look very official. I've also got all my antennas up on top. So we got it all. Gigantic antenna. We got the safety lights going, hazard lights. We got phone streaming, or my phone set up here so I can do that. We got the computer. Yeah, so SAW filter, this filters out basically radio signals that we don't care about. It's also a low noise amplifier, so it's going to amplify the signals that we do care about. This is an SDR, or software defined radio. Basically takes the radio signal and turns my computer into an actual radio, essentially, basically like an FM radio. And then you're going to hear this annoying sound, in case you weren't here last weekend, but you'll hear this annoying dot matrix printer sound. This is the weather balloon. So this is the frequency the weather balloon's on right here. You can see it pulsating. That's what it's supposed to do. And then this is the band that the weather balloon's on. You can see this is kind of the frequency spectrum here, and you can see this dark red band. So you can definitely see exactly where the weather balloon is. So that's the radio there, the SDR. That's just the raw radio signal, and then we're piping that into a couple things. We got a couple things that are new, but this is the same software we had last week. This is the old Windows Sonde software. It's not really old, but this is the one that we used last week. Let's see, can I focus on this? Focus. All right, doesn't want to focus. Closer? Nope, that's worse. Okay. Well, anyways, so we've got. Can't really see it with focus, but we got latitude, longitude, altitude, azimuth, direction, distance from my location. It's about 47 kilometers away from where I'm positioned right now, and it will place it on this map here, which was not very satisfying to me. So today, in addition to that, we're also going to use software called Windows Sonde. Let's see, Windows Sonde looks like this. It's very basic. I think it has mapping capabilities as well, but I don't know how to use them. But anyways, here's the raw signal and the raw data from Windows Sonde. Same kind of idea, but the benefit here is Windows Sonde has an API, and so I have a script running here in the background that's reading the Windows Sonde, and that will also be that's going to be sending our data to the APRS map. So if you want to track it live, let's see, I haven't even looked to see. I got to figure out what the name of this item is on the APRS map if you do want to track it live, because it's different every time. Basically, I've got my my script here set up to use the radiosonde's ID number as the name of the item. So there it is on the APRS map. So it's LMS 66252. So let's see, I can probably add something to the comments, but if you want to track this yourself and see where the balloon is, you can go to aprs.fi/LMS 6-6252. Or if you just go to the Western New York area and you look for a balloon icon, where it's really the only balloon icon around. So let's see. Let me see if I can put a comment on at least on the YouTube stream, so you know where to go if you want to track this here. So let's see. It is aprs.fi/LMS 6.6252. There we go. All right, I just put that on the YouTube stream there. So if you don't want to track it, you want to see where this weather balloon is, I'll be basically that is being populated from my antenna to the computer. Computer's parsing the signal, and it is publishing it to the APRS map there. My APRS, camera's shaking. My APRS connection here has been a little bit shaky, which I think it's actually the Sonde monitor software, which is very finicky. It's been giving me trouble. It doesn't want to always decode the signal. That other software that I use, that radiosonde software, is way more reliable. I mean, that decodes the signal no problem. As long as I can pick it up, it's decoding it. Oh, and it's going to start raining. Great. Hopefully it doesn't rain too hard. I do not have cover for all this stuff. Okay, anyways, well, what we're looking for a radiosonde. One of these guys here. This is one we picked up yesterday. Chased one down yesterday. It is a harmless weather instrument. So this is yesterday's radiosonde from Buffalo, New York, 5/31/19, 7 a.m. This was yesterday mornings, which I wasn't intending on recovering, but it landed right next to my house. I was tracking it, trying to test this software. I was going through a bunch of software tests just to see, basically trying to see if I could get all the information to APRS. And while I was doing that, I was watching it. It wasn't supposed to land anywhere near where I was, but it did. It had a super slow descent rate, like 3 meters per second, and it traveled a really long distance during descent, and landed right next to my house, a couple miles from my house. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go grab it. I'm not just gonna leave it there. And so I did. So I grabbed that, and there we are. So we're looking for one of these guys today, radiosonde from the National Weather Service. What is the name of the planet between Saturn and Neptune? So on the radiosonde here, you've got a humidity. I think I said these backwards the other day during the stream when I was listening it back. But this is the humidity sensor, this one with the dome over the top. And this one is actually the temperature sensor. So the humidity sensor is supposed to be parallel to the bottom of the box, and the temperature sensor is supposed to be at a 45-degree angle. I don't really know the significance of why, but that's the instructional guide says 45-degree angle for temperature. This guy should be parallel. Inside there's a GPS chip, so it knows its position and how fast it's going, and that's how they gather wind speed. There's also a pressure sensor in there, so they can see, you know, what the pressure levels are in the atmosphere. There's a mail bag here, so if you find one of these, you can pull the mail bag out, stick this whole thing right inside the bag, and it's already prepaid. You can mail it right back to the Weather Service. They'll refurbish it and use it again. And then the weather balloon attaches right here up on top, goes up there, and then they have a parachute, which is always kind of amazes me, this parachute they use, this bright orange parachute. It's really nothing fancy. I wish I could get our hands on these because they look very inexpensive, and I like it. It's just like looks like a just plastic orange bag, basically. But yeah, parachute like this. And essentially, the parachute's in line with the balloon. So just like our flights, you got the payload box. Payload box connects to the bottom of the parachute here, and then the top of the parachute is what actually connects to the balloon up here. And so while you're ascending, now the sondes are hunting Tori down here, right? So while you're ascending, the balloon pulls this tight, and so the parachute doesn't really affect anything. And during descent, there's no pull on the top of the parachute, and so then it can open. Can I buy one of these, and where? I'm not sure if you're talking about the radiosondes. Generally, you cannot buy one of the radiosondes. They are made by Lockheed Martin, and well, I mean, I suppose you could, but they may try to sell you a lot. They're made by Lockheed Martin. They're like professional weather instrumentation devices, so they are intended for professional organizations. I don't even know if they would sell us one. They might, but I'm not sure. All right, everything is getting wet. Hopefully it doesn't rain too hard, because I just have a laptop out here. This laptop is not exactly weatherproof. Maybe it'll take a little bit of water. Here, I was gonna try to put the parachute over it, but it's too windy. There's that idea. So timeline-wise, where are we at? We're at the balloon right now is at 23,000 meters. It should get to about 30,000 meters. So we got a little bit of time before it breaks. Then we'll watch it come down. It's been in the air for about an hour and 15 minutes now. So it's been a little while. And then once this breaks, we're gonna go chase it down and hope for an easy recovery. Expectation-wise, I had two caveats before last weekend. Was one, we might not be able to find it. I'm actually relatively confident that we'll be able to find it. Now that I've tested this out a couple times, I'm relatively confident that we will find this. I've gotten pretty good at this over the last couple days, I think. So I'm pretty confident we're gonna find it. The big question really, and the thing to set expectations, is where it lands. If it lands in a field, great, I'll grab it. If it lands somewhere that I can grab it easily, I will do that. If it lands way up in a tall tree, we're just gonna leave it and go home, and we'll try another day. Really hoping it would be sunnier and not raining today. It's forecast for this morning was supposed to be partly cloudy. Last I looked, but it did call for a little bit of rain this morning, but it was supposed to be done by now. So for that. So, all right, yeah, so it's still about 50 kilometers from where I am. I'm gonna pull up the map here, and then you guys can see where this is located here. Let's see. All right, 78,000 feet. Now I have imperial measurements for our friends in the US, AKA for me. All right, so here's the APRS map here and our radiosonde. You can see, you know what I should do? In addition to this here, let me pull up my car. Then you can see where I'm located as well. So if you're looking on the APRS map, if you're looking for me, my call sign for my vehicle is KD2. Should not you be a SEO server? I'm not sure what that means. So anyway, so my APRS call sign on my car is KD2KPZ. It's Kilo Delta 2 Kilo Papa Zulu, and it's -9. So here's where I'm located here. Here's the balloon over there. I don't know why this won't focus, but the balloon's currently sitting at, no, that is my car. The balloon is currently sitting at 78,500 feet. That was last updated like a minute ago. And we are at an elevation of 668 feet. So we're about 50 kilometers from it, and it should basically come right towards us here. The real question is going to be, and you can see, this is basically for reference. Here's Rochester, New York. Here's Buffalo, New York over here where it was launched from. It was launched from the Buffalo Airport, and it's already over here, and it should land somewhere over here. Looks kind of far to the east, so I don't know how far we're going to be chasing it today. The tough thing that I've seen, at least for the last couple days with these weather balloon flights, is that the descent rate, not you, supposed to be a local weather service. Tough thing I've seen with these National Weather Service flights is that the descent rate is very unpredictable. So I tracked the flight last night. I did not recover that one. It landed in a bunch of trees, and I didn't even leave my house. But last night it landed at like 12 meters per second, which is really fast. And yesterday morning, this one that I just got yesterday morning that I wasn't planning on getting descended at 3 meters per second. And the one we got last week, when we got it live, descended at about 5 meters per second. So it's kind of all over the map. I think 5 meters per second is what it's supposed to land at. But like I said, yesterday morning, 3 meters per second. Last night was 12 meters per second. So it's all over the map for descent rate. And that really has a big effect on where this lands. So my prediction on where it's going to land is based on 5 meters per second. So if it's less than that, it's going to travel a lot further to the east past where I'm located. If it's faster than that, it's going to come up short and land to the west. So we're going to see. That's going to be the big question mark as far as how close to recovery I am. But once it breaks, we'll watch it come down. Once it lands, we'll go chase it. Maybe the descent rate has to do with a flimsy parachute. I think it does, because I've seen the parachute in 2 different conditions now. So the 5 meter per second one was kind of it was a little bit tangled up, which I was kind of surprised at. And the 3 meters per second one was perfect. Basically, it was completely opened, no tangles whatsoever. I was able to easily wrap it up. But the 5 meters per second one, that one was a little bit tangled. So I'm wondering. Oh boy, I'm gonna lose my tablet in the wind here. Yeah, I'm wondering if they kind of plan on a little bit of tangledness for the descent, because they don't really have anything there that would help keep the parachute open. So our flights, we use a parachute that only has 4 shroud lines, and that's specifically to make sure that they don't get tangled. And it also I forget what they have built in, but there's a couple features of the parachute. Not really a parachute expert per se, but the parachute manufacturer basically says that our parachutes are a no tangle parachute. They have only 4 shroud lines specifically for that. If you have a parachute like this with these like cotton shroud lines, and you have a lot of, I mean, how many do we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they have 8 shroud lines here on this parachute. When you have this many lines on here, a lot of times what you'll see like amateur groups do is they'll put a hoop below the parachutes that'll basically hold those open and hold those apart from each other, so that when it descends, it doesn't get tangled. But the Weather Service is really not that interested in the recovery portion of it. I mean, they just want to slow this down enough that it's not going to damage anything. And this box is pretty light, so it doesn't really need a big parachute anyways. So they oh, there you go. Gregorius put the APRS link on Periscope. Thank you, Gregorius, for putting that on the Periscope broadcast. Yeah, that's the real Gregorius put the link there in Periscope. So if you want to follow it live, that's where the balloon is right now. You can actually add my car in there, or see where my car is. It's KD2KPZ. Here, I'll give you another one, Gregorius, if you want to put on the Periscope one. But I think if I do, let's see, this LMS 6-6252, and then let's see, try that one. If I give you that link, that should give, yeah, perfect. Okay. So I just put a new link on the YouTube page there. That link will get you to the balloon and where I'm located, so you can see both. Can you show the predicted flight path? Yeah, sure. Let's see. I got to get that up here. Hold on. Let's see. I got to grab it off my phone. Let's see. 1 second here. Link works perfect. Yeah. All right. Great. I'm glad that link works. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Find the predicted flight path for this morning. Did I save it, or am I going to have to run a new one? I did save it. Let's see. I ran it on my phone, so I gotta send myself a message, pull it up, and then we'll show it to you guys. The balloon's pretty far from your location. Yeah, it's 50 kilometers right now. So yeah, we're still a ways to go. But you'll be surprised how quickly it comes this direction, especially during descent. So the big kind of horizontal gain happens between like 20,000 to 40,000 feet in altitude. I don't know what that is in meters, but between 20,000 and 40,000 feet, that's when it really picks up the horizontal velocity, and that's when it'll head this direction. All right, so there's our prediction. We'll pull this up here so you guys can see it, and let's pull up. Where's our current map here? We'll pull both up, and you guys can see. You guys will see both. Looks like sonde monitor isn't extracting the complete payload ID from telemetry, only the last 4 digits. The full ID is actually in the packet. We figured that out for auto receive a few days ago. Okay, so that's Mark. Mark in I think Mark's in Australia. Mark has a open source software called Radiosonde Auto RX, or Radiosonde Auto Receive, that is really great at tracking weather balloons. We got to get him to get the this weather balloon for the U.S. get those incorporated, but I think he's working on that for us, and I'm going to send him some audio from yesterday's balloon. I recorded some audio yesterday. Let's see. All right. So what was I doing? Oh, predicted flight path here. Yeah. Let's show you that. Apologize for the English. Shouldn't you be a local weather service? He looked close to my. Yeah. Well, I am not part of the local weather service, but this radiosonde is. This is an official radiosonde from the National Weather Service here. Harmless weather instrument. They know that I do this, but they're not like coordinating with me in any ways. So the National Weather Service just puts these up, and they don't even attempt recovery. So, all right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the predicted flight path here. So here is the predicted flight path, and apologies for the picture of a picture here, but. We launched from, where's my mouse here? We launched from Buffalo, out in this region here. And it's going to do kind of one of these little bit of a wavy thing here. It's going to head pretty much north, maybe a little northeast. Kind of gets in a little bit of a stall pattern here as it gets to the really high altitudes, which is probably at right now. I haven't looked at the altitude. Mark says he just added support for this telemetry. Needs testing in the wild though to figure out optimal filter settings. Well, I might be able to help you out with that, Mark. That's awesome. Anyways, yeah. So we're expected to have burst just south of Caledonia here, and then it's going to make this eastern, pretty much directly east track to right there. And for reference. So here, this is the predicted landing. I am positioned right about here, so just short of the predicted landing. 27,700 meters. Okay, thank you, Chusakanya. I haven't checked that in a second, but we were also going to go. We were going to go check that right now. So here's our map. Chusakan says 27,700 meters, which I assume is pretty close to 91,000 feet, which is what my imperial display says. But yeah, still a ways away from me, and it looks like it pushed a little bit further to the east. So we said the burst was supposed to be just south of Caledonia. Here's Caledonia. It was supposed to burst like here-ish. We're a little bit northeast of that. So we'll have to see how that affects our landing. But so far, it's pretty close. We should be getting burst probably within the next 5 minutes here. But there's still about a 50-kilometer spread between me and the balloon. Balloon chasing is not an exact science. Yeah, that is for sure. Yeah, so we kind of just have to take a guess at where it's going to land. And I think somebody in the Periscope said earlier how long until the balloon lands. So timeline-wise, so we're going to have burst here in probably about 5 minutes, and then it'll start the descent. In an ideal world, descent should be about 30 minutes. So I would expect landing to be around, I guess it'll land just south of Manchester. All right, yeah, any other guesses? If you want to check out the map and take a guess where you think it's going to land. Manchester would be probably about a 10 or 15 minute drive from where I am. But let me know your guesses. We'll see who's the closest. Somebody will have to be the judge on it. Keep track of these. Yeah, so in an ideal world, about a 30-minute descent. But like I said earlier, kind of the big question mark with these balloon flights is the descent rate. They're kind of all over the map. If it descends really fast, I think the one last night landed in like 20 minutes. And the one yesterday morning took an hour to descend. So yeah, we could, I don't know, it could be all over the map as far as the descent rate. And that's kind of the fun part, is you get to see what's happening. We'll see how close we are. And then basically the tough thing here, oh, there you go. Human traffic is from Manchester, UK. Well, yeah, I don't think it's going to land south of Manchester, UK, but we have a Manchester, New York here that's about 15 minutes from me. What color is the balloon? How big is it? I knew somebody was going to ask that. I want to. Somebody thinks it's going to. Gregorius thinks it's going to land in Bloomfield, 29 kilometers in altitude. Yeah. So what color is the balloon? How big is it? I almost brought a balloon with me today, but I was like, it's too bulky. But it's a white latex balloon, and the Weather Service used a 600-gram balloon, which is kind of like it's a little bit on the lower end of balloon sizes, but I don't know. I guess I would call that the average size. A lot of amateurs kind of start at the 600-gram balloon size. You've got smaller, what I would consider small balloons that are like 200 or 300 grams. The 600 gram is kind of middle of the road, maybe a little bit towards the lower end. Probably 800 or 1,000 grams is kind of like your middle of the road. Then you've got 1,200 and 1,500 grams. 1,500, that's the largest size that we fly, but you can do bigger than that. There are 2,000 gram balloons, 3,000 gram balloons. Those are huge. I just don't have a fitting to actually fill those balloons. We're getting some static here on the radio signal here. So let me see if I might have to adjust this antenna pointing here. So we've got there's the antenna. I got my compass, trying to point it in the right direction here. Now we're getting a ton of static. Let me turn the volume up here. Did it burst? Is that why we got static? Oh, that's better. You may just need a higher angle. Yeah, we're supposed to be at a 35-degree angle there, so that's a little bit high. That's better. Now we got strong signal. All right, 98,000 feet. So the radiosondes themselves does not emit APRS data. That is correct. The radiosonde does not have APRS. So if you can get data into HabHub, you could. Yeah, I was actually I was working on getting data into HabHub last night to get those live predictions. But yeah, so the National Weather Service, the radiosondes do not transmit on APRS. They don't really need it to. They have their own receive station that's back in Buffalo, and they only track the ascent. Once the balloon bursts, they stop tracking it. They don't track it anymore after that. So let's see. Let me get my sonde monitor back up here. So this sonde monitor is very finicky. If the audio is, I don't know, not just right, it won't decode anything. And so at the moment, it's not decoding anything, and that it's kind of unfortunate because basically, going back to the APRS thing, they're transmitting on their own frequency with kind of their own telemetry format. I'm receiving it, decoding it, and then I'm the one that's actually posting it to the APRS. So that you guys can see it, and that's done. It's kind of a convoluted process, which is why I'm excited to use the auto receive from Mark in Australia, because I'm receiving the signal with sonde monitor, which is finicky at best, and then I'm using basically a Python script to extract the data from sonde monitor and then upload it to APRS, and hopefully HabHub at some point, unless Mark gets his thing working, and then I'll stop writing my script and I'll use Mark's. But yeah, see, right now it's not decoding the data, even though I've got like what I would say basically a perfect signal, and I don't know why it's upset with the signal that I have. It's not clipping the top and the bottom, so it's not like, you know, over modulated or anything. I don't know why it doesn't decode. It makes me so frustrated. And my other software is decoding perfectly. It's just rifling away. So yeah, if that APRS map doesn't update, that's gonna be why. It's because my sonde monitor just doesn't like it. For some reason, doesn't want to decode it. Wow, windy. I have code on GitHub to do sonde monitor and HabHub already. Oh, all right, there we go. Might have to take a look at some of that. Yeah. Now the frustrating. I imagine the sonde monitor to HabHub only works if sonde monitor works. Oh, there we go. All right, we got a frame decoded. So, I don't know. It just picks random frames to decode. I don't know what the problem is. It's not like my signal's fading in and out, or I'm getting. Wow, this is shaking quite a bit. I don't know what's better, if I let it sit on my car on a tripod, or if I just hold it so it doesn't shake all over the place. But yeah, I don't know why sonde monitor doesn't want to decode it. Just kind of picks what it wants to decode. Like my signal's not fading in and out. I mean, I've got a strong, solid signal, and wrong signal level. Is there a voltage bias? There isn't really any. I don't know. There's not a lot of feedback here from sonde monitor either. Like, I mean, the Windows sonde one, you know, kind of shows me a gain so I can see. Good morning. John says good morning on Facebook. Hello, good morning, John. Should pop any minute. Yeah, we are expecting burst any minute. We're pretty high. We're at 31,800 meters. That's pretty high for a National Weather Service balloon. They usually don't go. I mean, they can go that high, but this is really usually their ceiling here. But it's still going up. We're almost at 32,000 meters here, which is up there. We're about to pass 32,000. So yeah, that balloon burst should be any second, and then comes the exciting part, the descent, the hard part of figuring out. This one is a short one. Can it capture an airplane flying over This one is a short one. Can it capture an airplane flying over again? I'm not sure what you're referring to there for the airplane flying over. Doesn't the amplifier filter out DC? Yeah, well, yeah, the amplifier should filter out most interference. Oh, there we go. We got burst. All right, so it hasn't it's not on the APRS map yet, but we did get balloon burst. I didn't see the max altitude, but it's descending now. It must have just burst because we're still at 31,000 meters, but it is coming down fast. We're at 30 meters per second is the vertical descent rate, and increasing. So it's coming down quick now, and yeah, sonde monitor is still having an issue decoding stuff. I don't know why. I try to mess with, like, I don't know, it seems to work better if I turn the gain down on the radio. So I guess I'm going to try to turn the gain down and see if that helps sonde monitor decode it. Oh wait, hold on. LMS6 is a 9600 baud FSKC with a stupidly large modulation index, resulting in 175 kilohertz bandwidth. Issue is likely to do with, and I lost it, went off the screen. Balloon isn't his, there's no oh right, yeah, maybe that's the airplane comment. This is not our flight, so there's no cameras on board. Max from APRS was 31.3 kilometers. Yeah, it was definitely higher than that. I saw it here on my local display here. I wonder if it'll tell me that. It was definitely over 32 kilometers. Let's see, I can look at the history here to pull it up. Let's see what the max altitude was. It definitely hit 32,000. Oh, it keeps, I don't know if I can turn auto scroll off. It's trying to auto scroll me past there. Well, it won't let me look at it because it keeps auto scrolling me to the bottom when new packets come in. But 32,000 something meters was the max altitude. It's as close as I can get. Yeah, so now we're down to 28,000 meters here now. I'm gonna set this down so I can look at what's happening here. So we're on to descent, and now the tricky parts. Mentioned that the issue is likely to do with filter bandwidths on the SDR receiver. Could be, yeah. Let me go back to. I'm gonna pull up Mark's comment here. I actually can get the YouTube comments up separately this time on my computer. So what did he say? Go back and find that resulting in 175 kilohertz bandwidth issue is likely to do with filter bandwidths on the SDR receiver. It could be. I do have, I don't know, this SDR receiver is supposed to be really nice, but I don't know. I don't know enough about radio theory. The stuff that Mark is doing with, like, I don't know, somehow decoding these signals himself, I couldn't do that. I rely on other people to do the decoding, and then I just use the software here that they've come up with. But let's see, what did your students say when you showed them the first transmitter? Well, I have not been to a classroom since we got the first one yet. So I'm not a teacher by trade. I do go to classrooms and speak and share about what we do with weather balloons and the math and the science and the engineering and stuff like that on. And I do plan to bring a radiosonde to the classroom if I go talk at some points. But so you're a script kiddie? Yes. Yeah, there you go. I don't know if I would describe it that way, but yeah, I can write. So I'm a software engineer by trade. I'm sure I could get into the radio theory stuff, but I don't know. I've just never been into that. I much rather be into the like, I don't know, just the software components. That's kind of my bread and butter. If you think doing this manually is hard, trying to making it work reliably automatically, yeah, I know, right? Well, more power to you, Mark. That's the stuff that he has set up with his auto receive library there on GitHub is amazing. I was looking at some of it yesterday. But yeah, I've started I've got a lot of scripts and software that we've written for like our flights, for landing prediction, some of the stuff that Mark has done, just not the actual decoding of the radio signal. We've now got a custom Android app here that does a lot of our tracking for our weather balloon flights, and I'm using actually these. The exciting thing for me about tracking these National Weather Service flights is if I can take this information and pipe it into APRS, then basically I can trick my software into thinking that it's one of our balloons. And so then I get to test all of our weather balloon stuff without actually having to launch a weather balloon. So I can test our landing predictor, I can test our Twitter integration, I can test I'm trying to think of what else I've been testing, our Android app, the custom Android app. So the Android app is really there just to give us, quickly give you from your phone azimuth and elevation of where the balloon is. So that the idea is, what I'm trying to get with our weather balloons, and even one of these National Weather Service balloons, but it'd be easier to do with our weather balloons, is I want to get to the point where I can drive up, pull up my phone and be like, oh, you know, stand at the landing site and be like, all right, where is this thing? And I can use my phone and be like, all right, it's there. And then I can start looking for it. Because it's really difficult to spot a balloon, even if you're at the exact landing point, which I've done twice. I've been at the exact landing point, like within less than 50 yards of where it landed. It's still, even standing underneath it, it's still hard to spot it. Because I always find myself, I said this in the last stream, but I always find myself looking off in the distance way further than I should. I should be looking almost straight up, especially if I'm at the landing spot. But I always look further in the distance, and then I never spot it until it's like 200 feet off the ground, and then I see it for 3 seconds and it lands. So if those custom Android apps, if I can test those and get those working, then I can kind of have those ready to go when we do our flights. Let's see. VR overlay, yeah. See, I think that would be kind of cool, like an augmented reality overlay or something like that. If you could get like an augmented reality overlay where you could, show the screen up in the sky and you can just have the balloon pop in and be like, the balloon's here, and you can look around it and be like, oh yeah, or maybe just put an arrow and be like, look here. That'd be pretty awesome. Let's see, what is the number of the following sonde? Are you talking about like the ID number, the 6265? That's like the last 4 digits of the ID number of the radiosonde. All right, so this is kind of pushing a little further north than I expected. That's not too bad though. We'll have to see, but it is a little bit further north than I expected. You need to talk to NASA and borrow their large red arrows. That's what I need. Get a big arrow that could be like right here. 23,696 meters, says Chuzakon. Yeah, we're about actually on my display here, the live display, it's 22,300 meters. So we're a little bit less than that, but the APRS is a little bit behind. But how much camera is there? No cameras on this flight. So this is a National Weather Service flight. Happy to look at getting output from auto receive or whatever into your apps. I use sondes to test my own chase mapping code a lot. Free test data every 12 hours. I know, exactly. That's the idea. Is basically the Weather Service is they're for free offering free test data for our balloon flights. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm excited about, to be able to throw it into like our Android apps and test those out, all kinds of stuff. But anyways, going back, somebody asked about the cameras. So no cameras on this flight. This is not our flight. This is a National Weather Service flight. It's boring. I know, there's no cameras, it's boring. But this is crucial, this is essential. These are radiosondes that are officially contributing to the weather forecast that you get every single day. Every 12 hours they launch these in the air. The US has 102 weather stations or upper air stations that launch weather balloons. There are 92 in the continental U.S. and in the Pacific Islands and territories of the U.S., and then there are another 10 that are managed by the U.S. in the Caribbean. So overall, 102 upper air stations that the U.S. manages, and they launch at least minimum 2 a day. So you're talking over 200 weather balloons every single day launched by the U.S. National Weather Service and the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration and the Global Climate Observatory System or something like that. Boring? No way, says John. I like that, John. He's into it. But yeah, so these are over 200 balloons every single day, and that's just by the U.S. So that's like 75,000 balloons every year just in the United States. Crazy, the number of weather balloons that they're launching. If Sonde Monitor decoding pressure, temp, humidity data, or just position? Sonde Monitor will only give me, the only extra thing it gives me is pressure. The temperature sits at 0, and humidity sits at 0, so it's not decoding temperature or humidity, which I wish it would, because then I could generate a skew T graph from it, just like the Weather Service does. Then I could test our skew T graph generation as well, because theoretically, if I generate a skew T graph from this flight, it should match perfectly with the skew T graph that the National Weather Service generates, because they're also generating a skew T graph from this flight. So I wish I could decode. I wish one of these tools, or maybe Mark can work some magic and get his tool to decode the pressure, humidity, and temperature, because then we could generate a skew T and test that. So, but yeah, right now I have no decoding of temperature or humidity, but I do have pressure from Sonde Monitor. Current last pressure reading was 37.2 kilopascals. Or 22,452. Oh, that's pressure altitude. I was like, that's a lot of millibars. But it's not millibars, it's the altitude based on pressure. All right, but we're actually at altitude wise. Oh wow, Sonde Monitor is behind by a lot of packets. What's happening, Sonde Monitor? Now the wind is picking up quite a bit here. What's our antenna still pointed in the right direction? Oh, there we go. Sonde Monitor finally caught up. 200 balloons do not interfere with airplanes. Nope, the balloon, yeah. Oh, and then there you go. Sebi Time Waster said pretty much exactly what I was going to say. The sky is really big. 200 balloons a day, but they rarely ever get seen. They don't even really get reported. You might get a report of a balloon from a pilot like once every 6 months or something like that. The sky is really, really big. I mean, really big horizontally, but also really big vertically. And the weather balloon, you got to imagine the balloon, or the layer that airplanes travel in is relatively small compared to where the weather balloon is. And the weather balloon just kind of drops through that horizontal channel where most airplanes fly. So most airplanes fly, you know, kind of in a channel like this, and the weather balloon just goes whoop right through it. And it doesn't spend a lot of time in this area. I mean, if it came and it floated and it stayed in this area, then you might get airplane pilots that see them more often or get more concerned about them. But those 200 balloons, most of the time they go up and they go right through it, and then they come down even faster. They whoop, right through, and so it doesn't really affect airplanes. They're also super small. I mean, this is tiny. This is like 400 grams styrofoam package. A jet engine could ingest this entire thing and not skip a beat. This take the whole thing in, circuit board and all. The jet engine is going to keep on going. But the chances of this being at the opening of the jet engine at the exact time that this is descending or ascending is pretty tiny. All right, I missed another comment. Somebody said something. So if I didn't get your comment, if I didn't answer your question, ask it again, because I missed any others. I'll try to pay attention to them now. Oh, I know what it was. Somebody said, how fast is it descending now? So now we're down to 10 meters per second. Mark says 400 grams. The Vasela equivalent RS-41 is 80 grams. Yeah, I think these are 400 grams, but I haven't actually weighed them. I'll have to. I should weigh it, find out. But I think they're supposed to be like 400 grams. You do everything bigger in the U.S. Well, I guess that's what we do. Great explanation. Thanks. I don't know why that got starred out. And then I missed a Periscope comment there. If you just commented on Periscope, comment again, because I missed it. I thought I had these comments set up to stay longer, so I didn't miss them. But apparently they need to stay up even longer on my display here. I'm streaming from a tablet, and so the comments come up on my screen in front of my camera, but they go away relatively quickly. I extended the time. How do you decode the signal from the radiosonde? All right, perfect. We'll give this is from Facebook. We'll give it a little tour here again. So here we go. Big parabolic directional antenna pointing at the radiosonde, which is up there somewhere. Comes in, and if we get a little wire here connected, goes to, it's called a Sawbird Plus. This is a SAW filter, filters out the signals that we don't want. It's also a low noise amplifier, or LNA, amplifies the signals that we do want. And then it goes into an SDR. This is a Newelec Smart T SDR. SDR is a software-defined radio, which basically turns your computer into a radio. You can listen to radio stations with this. You can listen to amateur radio with this. You can also listen to weather balloons or satellites or all kinds of cool stuff. And perfect timing from Adela says, what's that beeping in the background? Well, I'm just getting there. Beeping in the background is the sound of the weather balloon. So we're listening to the frequency of 1676 megahertz. Basically, we're just listening to the radio, just like you would listen to the radio to hear music. It's just not playing music on this station. It's playing this beeping sound on this station, which is the data signal. This is the raw data signal you're hearing from the weather balloon, which is actually getting quite strong now. We're down to, or I guess up to negative 45 decibels here of signal strength. Balloon is still 42 kilometers from my location, so still quite a ways away. But anyway, so the antenna gets piped into this SDR here, which is feeding this software. So you can see right here, this is the radiosonde between this light blue line here. So that's the main radiosonde signal. Some of these other things you're seeing, these are like harmonic frequencies. I know you don't have that much coax cable in use, but every little bit of improvement helps. I guess you don't want a very directional antenna like a Yagi because it'll be hard to track the payload. Yeah, that's the hard thing about using the directional antenna. I do have a omnidirectional antenna that I'm going to try actually later tonight. But anyway, so here's the actual signal right there, and then you can see the signal strength here. So obviously the red and the white are really strong, then the green and then the blues are kind of the light end. But this is the frequency spectrum here from like 1675 megahertz to 1676 megahertz, or 1677 megahertz, and we're right in the middle here, 1676. So goes into that software. That software then feeds into two different pieces of software. This is called Windows-Sonde. This is actually doing the decoding. This one's super reliable, and I love this one. This is kind of the one that I use the most. Decodes a whole bunch of radio signals, but I also use, which we've been talking about quite a bit, is Sonde Monitor, which is pretty basic looking, like this. I think it does mapping, but I don't use it. And Sonde Monitor also gives me some readouts here for lat long, altitude, pressure, that kind of thing. But really I'm using Sonde Monitor to power my Python script, which is running here on a console window. My Python script is just pulling the latitude, longitude, and altitude from Sonde Monitor and publishing that on the APRS map so you guys can see where the balloon is. Although Sonde Monitor is pretty finicky, which we said a couple times this morning, so it's not, sometimes those updates are frequent, sometimes not. So as M just said, wow, it just moved 5 kilometers east. Yeah, that Sonde Monitor, that's a problem with Sonde Monitor here on my computer. So the only way, so the balloon itself is not publishing to APRS. I have to receive it, decode it, and then I'm publishing it to APRS on the map that you guys are seeing. And the only way I can do that is with that Sonde Monitor, and that Sonde Monitor is very, very finicky. I mean, it just went from, like, I don't know, what was it at? 60,000 meters, and our next position was 50,000 meters. So it just dropped 10,000, or this is feet, 10,000 feet that it just dropped. So yeah, so I'm receiving all those packets in between with the other software, the Windows Sonde software. I'm receiving and decoding those just fine. I just don't know why it's really just Sonde Monitor that's having an issue with that. Sonde Monitor does not want to decode it. Windows Sonde decodes it just fine. Oh boy. Do you rely on GPS? Well, I need to be able to receive the balloon and decode the signal so I know where to go pick it up. So I can do that. I'm not relying on, are there any good Python apps to teach Python coding on Android or Apple? I'm assuming you want, so Android and Apple don't use Python, but I'm assuming you want an Android or Apple app to learn Python. I don't know of an app off the top of my head, but I don't know, there's an app for everything really. So there might be, but you can go to like Code Academy on online, and you can learn Python with Code Academy, or I mean, there's a million websites that'll help you learn. Python is actually pretty easy to learn, I think, in my opinion. What's the beeping in the background? I just joined. So the beeping in the background, that is the sound of the weather balloon that we're chasing. That is the raw sound of the weather balloon. I know it's super annoying, but I have to keep it on and listen to it. That tells me basically if I lose the signal, or if my signal starts getting weak, then I'll know I have to adjust my antenna. I could just watch. I can watch the location, which I probably should adjust it, but have you seen XTO Network? They have centicles you can put on your balloon. Well, this is not our balloon. This is a National Weather Service balloon that is being launched. So I have no control over what they do or do not put on the balloon, and generally they are opposed to put anything else on the weather balloon. Like, you can't. They're very friendly in that they'll let you go watch or even help launch a weather balloon at your local weather station. But they're not really interested in adding things to it, because these are for real. These are not for play. So it's a radiosonde. It looks like this for those people that just joined. From your waterfall, it does look like plenty of signal strength to decode. I suspect Sonde Monitor is very finicky about his frequency shift key slicing. Sure, I'll go with that. Yeah, I mean, I have solid signal strength right now. Like, this is from the waterfall. Like, I have great signal strength. I'm even getting a lot of harmonic signals off frequency here, but yeah, I got great signal strength. But I don't know, Sonde Monitor just doesn't want to play nice sometimes. Anyway, so this is what's flying. This is what's flying. It's for the National Weather Service, and let's see. We're working on a HAB project. We have concern about radiation effect on electronics. Did you ever face bit flipping situation in electronics? No, we've never run into bit flipping. I mean, I think that's pretty. That would be pretty rare to kind of run into a bit flip for the short amount of time frame that you have for weather balloons, but yeah, I don't think we've never run into that. We have run into more of an issue. We've run into basically electromagnetic radiation or interference from cameras interfering with GPS chips. So GPS chips are really finicky. That's the word of the day, finicky. The GPS chips can be... can you show us the transmit antenna? I think the transmit antenna is actually inside the box, and it's completely sealed. So I'm not gonna disassemble this one because I want to keep a couple intact for when I go to classrooms and stuff. But yeah, there's no external antenna on this. The only thing external is the humidity sensor and the temperature sensor, and the boom arm to actually attach it to the weather balloon. Did you mail back last week's recovery fine? I did not mail it back. I probably won't, because we're going to use them for educational purposes. Take them into classrooms to show students what an actual radiosonde looks like. A lot of people don't know what a radiosonde looks like, so we'll probably mail some. You know, if we get a surplus, we'll mail them back so they can refurbish them. But the first couple, I'm sorry, National Weather Service, but we're gonna hold on to them so I can show them off the classrooms. It's for the kids. Come on, it's for the kids. And the adults. I went to work yesterday and was showing this one around. I was like, look at this, a radiosonde. Have you ever seen one of these? It's cool. So adults too. Even at work, people are all interested. I hope you get eaten by a tornado. Wow, that's kind of harsh. All right. What kind of batteries do they use? Somebody asked me this the other day, and I can't remember the name of them. Somebody might be able to figure it out, but they look like short, bloated double batteries. They're like CR123 batteries or something like that. So the radiosondes look quite different than the ones flying in Australia. Yeah, there's a couple different types of radiosondes, but yeah, these are made by Lockheed Martin. They're used quite frequently here. Somebody's praying for me in Periscope. It's great being weather nerds. I know, I love this stuff. You guys might think some of you might think it's kind of nerdy, but hopefully not if you're here, right? Or maybe that's why you're here. You just enjoy watching me geek out. 42,000 feet we're at right now here, so we're still coming down. I have a feeling I'm gonna be short. The balloon's gonna be long because it looks like it's making a lot of horizontal progress. So let's see, what were we saying? I don't remember what we were saying now. Wow, it's going pretty fast. Yeah, it's moving now. I gotta adjust my mount here. It keeps blowing in the wind. They have stealth technology. I love weather. Yeah, nothing stealthy going on here today, but yeah, today's just typical weather balloon flight. But yeah, we want to recover them. I mean, they're fun to recover and fun to chase around and see if you can do this with a signal. You know, receiving them is kind of fun. In the U.S., they seem to like flying U.S. sondes. Pretty much everywhere else in the world, they fly the Finnish RS-41 sondes. Yeah, I imagine they. I don't know. Here in the U.S., they want to use a U.S. manufacturer. But yeah, even the National Weather Service uses two different types of radiosondes. They might even use. I think the other one they use is a Vasela. Might be the RS-41, but they primarily use the LMS-6, which is this Lockheed Martin one. RS-92, that's the other one that the National Weather Service uses, the RS-92. I don't know who uses that or what stations use that, but apparently it is still in use. RS-92-NGP, built by Vaisala, however you say that. But I believe they're phasing those out. Oh yeah, Mark says they're obsolete. Yeah, they are phasing those out. So and they're going primarily with this LMS6. So most stations are on this LMS6 one here on 1680 megahertz. Although by 2022 they're moving all these to the 403 megahertz band. So right now they're at 1680 megahertz, or actually has a range. So on the bottom, I can't show it to you on this one, but on the bottom here there's a bunch of dip switches that you can change the frequency before you launch it. Which band of radio frequency effective for long range communication? Easy. Yeah, so sorry, I'm reading comments. I'm trying to read them before they go away. But on the bottom there's a couple of dip switches, so there's 4 different frequencies that this radiosonde supports. Today it's flying at 1676 megahertz. But they're moving to the 403 megahertz range. Is there a tracking site for these? Yeah, so somebody here, I'll put it back on the YouTube page here. The YouTube comments, LS6 to 65 to 80. Okay, yeah, so, but it's not, yeah, Mark's excited they're going to the 400 megahertz sondes. Yeah, they're not doing that till 2022, though, is when they're going to move to that, so still got a bit of time. All right, I got to move my antenna here. I put the live tracking link in the YouTube comments. That relies on, so that is not coming from the balloon itself. Whoa, wow, the wind is really picking up here on the ground. Oh no. How long will the balloon stay up? Well, it's descending right now. We're at 11,000 meters, and I gotta move my antenna. I'm gonna have to turn up the beeping so I can hear it. Bear with me 1 second. We're gonna move the antenna. Let's see. All right, I'm actually moving it to out here by the road. Because it's a lot further north than I expected it to be. All right. Oh, there you go. Gregorius put the link on the Facebook channel as well. I don't know if Gregorius, if you have a minute, if you want to put it on the Periscope as well, maybe you already did. But yeah, this is a lot further north than I expected it to be, so we might be on a bit of a chase here. After launch, what makes it come down? All right, so in a weather balloon, you're going to fill it up with helium or hydrogen, but our weather station uses helium. Oh, can you turn the beep down? Yeah, turn the beep down. There you go. Oh yeah, there you go. Gregorius put out a link on YouTube to check out other balloons. So what was I gonna say? Oh, why does it burst? So you put in a lifting gas, helium or hydrogen. Our weather station uses helium, and it's got a certain amount of pressure in there. So you put it in, you fill it up, and basically the pressure inside the balloon equalizes with the pressure of where you're standing when you launch it. And so the balloon gets so big, and then you launch it in the air, and you close the balloon up, you launch it in the air. As it climbs, the pressure in the atmosphere gets thinner and thinner and thinner, and so the ambient pressure gets lower and lower. And so the pressure inside the balloon is trying to match the pressure outside the balloon. And so it starts pushing out further and expands and pushes the balloon out. And then the higher you go, the bigger it gets. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and that pressure just keeps pushing outwards because the ambient pressure outside the balloon is less. And so the pressure inside is trying to match that, and then it finally gets to the point where it gets so big, almost 40 feet in diameter for our balloons. I think these smaller weather balloon ones get maybe like 26 feet in diameter or something like that. So they get pretty big, and they get so big that they break, and then that's what causes them to descend and come back down. So that's the story of why a weather balloon comes back down. All right, so it's definitely gonna it's definitely pushing, it's gonna be east of me. I mean, it's still at 35,000 feet. It's gonna be way east of me. Well, we're gonna follow this. We're gonna follow this as best we can. It's gonna push way east of me, then we're gonna have a bit of a drive. Let's see, did somebody ask, what do you do with the probes that you find? I collect them and don't have one that transmits 1676. Yeah, so I'm basically using them for demonstration purposes. So we recover them, and we'll use them in like classrooms to show students what they look like, what they're about, like what's launching in the air 200 times a day in the US. That's huge that those things land in water. Sure, they could, especially if you're on an island and they're launching that. So they launch these from like Puerto Rico and from Hawaii, and I mean Hawaii's balloons almost always land in the water. But the Weather Service doesn't recover these. That's why we can, because they just put them out and away they go. They only track it. They're actually done tracking it now. So the forecast that's generated from this weather balloon is actually already in the works. So the Weather Service tracks it during ascent, which happened from about 7 a.m. to about 8:45 a.m. So about an hour and 45 minutes during ascent. They track it. Once the balloon breaks and it starts coming down, they stop tracking it. They don't care about it anymore. They don't even follow it. They go on with the rest of their day. Do they have a chute when they descend? Yes, there is a parachute on board. It's kind of, here's an example one. It's all wrapped up here, but it's a fairly simple parachute. Kind of just looks like an orange plastic bag. But they descend under parachute. Once the balloon bursts, this parachute comes out and looks something like that. There you go. Of course, the wind's been threatening to blow my tablet over all morning, and the moment that I want the wind to be blowing so I can show the parachute, it doesn't want to blow. Mark says, yeah, not worth the time to recover them, try to refurbish and reuse them. Not sure why they even bother giving you a bag to send them back. It's probably just been... Actually, the Weather Service does... They do actually refurbish and use a lot of them. I was talking to them about it last time I went and launched one with them. They do actually refurbish some of them. It really depends on how long they're out in the wild. I mean, if it sits out in a field for 6 months and then it gets sent back to them, they really pretty much trash all those. But if it's something that somebody picks up right away and mails back, then they can launch those again. It's like a free gift from the National Weather Service. Yeah. Let's see. Looks like there's a northward wind blowing. The wind is picking up. Interesting. Around here, the sensors often get trashed or landing, so not reusable. Yeah, they do reuse them as long as they're picked up and sent back relatively soon after landing. Can it land on someone's backyard? Sure. There's no... The Weather Service really doesn't care where it lands because they only care about the ascent. And so these things land all over the place. They land in people's backyards. They land in people's trees. They land on people's houses. They land in lakes and oceans and in the woods. in the middle of the road. They can pretty much land anywhere. There's no way of actively controlling where the landing is. It's just that parachute. Wherever the wind blows it, that's where it's going to land. We're currently at just under. We're at actually 9,200 meters. Is our APRS map still going? Yep. All right. So it is past. It is now past north of my position. See, unfortunately, it looks like we got a pretty slow descent rate. Somebody said the band that's used is 900 megahertz. No, so this is, I'm not sure if you're talking about my balloon or something else, but this balloon is on 1676 megahertz. What's up, Science Man? Hey there, Boney Rotten on Periscope. Hey, thanks for tuning in and joining us here this morning. So we're waiting for a weather balloon to land. It is falling. It's in descent. It actually, the unfortunate thing here is it looks like it's falling really slowly. We're at 4 meters per second, and it's still 30,000 feet in the air. That's really slow. That means it's going to be a long descent, which is unfortunate. It means it's going to travel way further east than it was supposed to. So yeah, 4.6 meters per second is the current descent rate. I don't like the sound of that, but maybe Tori should drive ahead east. Yeah, so I always get kind of torn on this, but I think the best method for me, because I have a directional antenna, the best method that I've found so far is to kind of stay put. And I'll track it with the directional antenna as far as I can. I'm pretty high up, so I should be able to track it for a while. If it goes really far east, I may lose signal a couple thousand meters off the ground. And then we're gonna have to go try to find it. And of course, the beginning of the broadcast, I said I was pretty confident that we'd be able to find it. If it goes really far east, then it might be tough to find. So we'll just have to see. We'll see what happens. The nice thing, I've said this a million times, but the nice thing about tracking the National Weather Service flights is that they're not mine, and if I don't get it, it's not really a big deal. I already got one. I got one right here. I'm trying to get another one today, but if I don't get this one, they launch another one tonight. Wouldn't that possibly encounter a commercial airliner at 30,000 feet? And where are you located? Yeah, well, right now I'm in Victor, New York, which is where I expected it to land. It is not there. Do you need a coffee? I'm gonna get one in a minute and can drop one off. Oh, sure, I'll take a coffee. So if you want to drop a coffee off. What was the other question I was gonna? Oh, can it encounter a commercial airliner? I mean, theoretically, it could, but you got to remember, we talked about this earlier. The sky is huge, way bigger than you're envisioning. The sky is really, really big, and this weather balloon drops. In the grand scheme of things, the weather balloon drops pretty quickly through the sky, right through. So it's not in that channel where airliners fly for very long. We're actually now, we're below 30,000 feet already. It was only there for a few minutes. So yeah, in addition to that, a commercial airliner can ingest this entire thing into the jet engine and would be just fine. The circuit board and all, the jet airliner will take this entire thing right in and continue flying. It's around the New York area. Yeah, Victor, New York is where I'm located. Does a balloon have a transponder? Yes, so that's what you're hearing in the background. That's the beeping. If last week's recovery was fun, it was like a treasure hunt. I know, these are all kind of like a treasure hunt. Yeah, so that beeping in the background, that is the kind of the, I think he's talking about transponder, like airliner transponder, but it has a transmitter, which is how I'm figuring out where it's located. So I know where it's located. It does not have a transponder that airliners could see. And actually the Weather Service does not do any sort of coordination with the FAA. So really, there are 200 of these flying right now. Right now, at this very moment, there are 200 of these balloons in the sky under parachute coming back down, because they all do it all across the country at the same time. And actually there's even more of those worldwide, because every balloon pretty much in the entire world launches relatively at the same time. I think, maybe, at least that's my understanding. Maybe Mark can confirm it, because he's over in Australia, but I believe they're all launched at the same time. Maybe that's just here in the US that they're launched all at the same time, but in the US they're all launched at 1100 UTC and at 2300 UTC, which is basically, for this time of year, that's like that's 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. and in the winter time, sorry, I just got a whole bunch of stuff pop up on my screen. In the winter time, it's 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. when we have daylight savings time, or I guess when we're out of daylight savings time. What are we in now? We're in daylight savings now. I don't know. But it's earlier in the winter. About right. Around here is 2315 Z and 1115 Z. Yeah, so that's pretty much exactly the same time as here. Can anyone chase them, or you have to be certified? Anyone can chase these. Anyone can chase them. It costs about, I don't know, I would say maybe $150 worth of equipment here, and 100 of it is this antenna. This antenna was like $100. If you're good at antenna theory, which I'm not, which is why I bought the $100 antenna. But if you're good at antenna theory, like my buddy Mike down in Ithaca, you can just build your own for a couple of dollars, and then your whole investment here is like 50 bucks worth of a filter and an SDR, and you're ready to receive and follow and track them. But if you don't know how to build your own antenna costs you 100 bucks, at least this one did. So 100 bucks plus probably 50 or 60 bucks in a filter and a SDR, and then you're good to go. Yeah, pretty much all flights in the world start at the same time to gather a snapshot of the atmosphere profile across 00 Zulu and 12 Zulu. Yeah, okay, so that was my understanding. I've never confirmed that in other parts of the world. So thank you for confirming that for me, Mark. Yeah, so they basically worldwide, they all launch at about the same time. It takes a complete snapshot, like Mark said, of the atmospheric conditions right at that moment, and so you can see it all over the world. Go Tigers. I'm a ham radio operator, so always playing around with antennas. Perfect. See, that's what I also have a ham radio license. I'm a licensed technician, but I'm not very good with antenna theory, so I'm not good at building my own antennas. So I just bought one. It seemed easier. Do the police ever stop and wonder what you're up to? Yes. In fact, in our last live stream, the sheriff stopped and wondered what was going on. But I didn't have my official looking light, which I do have my official looking light this time, but it's just my hazard lights here. So I got this is the back of my car with a giant antenna here. So those are actual just like regular amateur radio antennas, so for my voice frequencies. Oh, I gotta move the antenna, I'm losing signal. But it looks very official. All right, where do we gotta put? We gotta be 8 degrees here. All right, it'll definitely be interesting to see now how you get on tracking with a quarter wave monopole or some kind of patch antenna would enable mobile tracking, but I suspect you'll have a lot less signal. Yeah, so I actually have a omnidirectional antenna that I'm going to try tonight, because I would like to do mobile tracking, which would actually work perfect in a scenario like today. So if you're following the tracking map, you're going to see that it's still This has got me a bit worried. It's still 20,000 feet in the air, and it's already past my location. So we're gonna have a bit of a trek to go recover this thing. And so that's I think I'm far off with Clifton Springs. Do you have reusable balloons? Nope, the balloons are not reusable. They explode into a million pieces. So yeah, you don't get anything back that's reusable. It's shaky. I know the wind is blowing like crazy. It's blowing my tablet around, so sorry. It's going south again now. All right, yep. So it's supposed to do this kind of wavy pattern here. It just looks like this is going to kind of elongate a little more than expected. So here, I'll show you. Here's what the predicted flight path looks like. So it's supposed to do this little wavy pattern where it goes up to the north and then kind of dips back to the south. So it's supposed to do that, but it's supposed to do that way back to the west. It looks like it's actually... So I'm positioned like here-ish, or if you can see the hand on the mouse here. But it's doing this little wave here is actually happening like way over here. So I think it's going to actually be like north of Geneva that it lands, like way over here. Probably going to land like in this region, maybe way north of Geneva. Because here's our current map, and that's where I'm located, where the little car is, and that's where the balloon is at still 20,000 feet that it's located at. So we still got a while for this thing to come down, which is really, really unfortunate. Makes it harder to try to spot it and try to find it if I'm not nearby when it lands. Because now it's 20 kilometers from my location. Bummer. All right, well, we're gonna do the best. We may not find this one, but we're gonna try. Issue with mobile tracking will be mobile flutter, reflections of signal off other objects, resulting in fast fading while moving. No forward error correction. I suspect it won't work so well. Yeah, I mean, we've kind of toyed with the idea of mobile tracking. But yeah, it's so far my best method is to kind of just sit here in one spot. I'm at the highest elevation that I could find. So I would have like minimal hills and things like that in the way. I mean, I've got some trees potentially in the way, but I've got minimal like big hills or anything like that. I'm kind of up on a big hill. Have you seen one come in and land? Not from the Weather Service. I've seen ours come in and land, but not from the Weather Service. The tough thing, so like what I was about to say, the tough thing with the needing the directional antenna is that I really just have to stay. I have to stay in one spot, because if I get in the car and I start moving, then it can be tough to find the balloon again. And so I have the balloon acquired with my signal right now. I can follow it relatively easily. I'll be able to follow it down until it gets to hopefully a couple hundred meters off the ground. Might be a couple thousand meters off the ground if it's going to be really far away. I'm just going to have to see where it comes in and lands. But once it lands, we're going to take the last known location, and we're going to go drive over there and see if we can find it. Oh my goodness, this wind! This was supposed to be a nicer day for this, but apparently it's not. And somebody's stopping here for me.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Well, I'm an electrical engineer. I'm just curious. But I don't know. You probably don't need curious people. That's pretty cool.
No problem. We're tracking a weather balloon from the National Weather Service.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're going to recover it here. It'll look.
It's probably going in the right direction, then, huh?
I think. Well, it came from there. It's actually in the direction of the antenna here now. It's actually supposed to land a couple miles of here. It looks like it's coming down pretty slowly.
It's so windy. It's got to be hauling. I mean, it's got to be really moving quick.
It's moving pretty quickly now. I think it's looking like it's going to land in like Geneva.
Oh wow!
A little far off, but we're going to go chase it down. But I'm going to stick here. So I can actually pick it up. So that looks something like this. Humidity sensor.
I see.
And then there's a transmitter inside that's sending a radio signal.
I see.
Picking up.
Well, I found one of these a long time ago. My uncle threw New Jersey. It was a lot bigger back then.
Oh yeah.
Like back in the 70s. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, had a couple different models over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty small, then.
yeah.
Wow.
Yep, so hopefully we'll find it. We're live streaming here on YouTube with some people following along, and hopefully try to find it.
So right now they're seeing nothing.
Yeah, right now they might be able to hear us. We're talking here with you. Might be on camera.
Well, I don't care.
So you got a helmet on anyway, so they can't. So
Hey,
we got somebody to stop by to see what's going on.
Checking it out.
I'm curious,
Pretty neat.
trying to find out what's going on. At least it wasn't the police this time. We had the police stop by last time. Wanted to know what we were doing.
I did. Wow, that's something. Yeah, I just live down the street. So.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, I was hoping for a landing right around here, but
you think it's gonna go all the way to Geneva?
yeah, it's looking like
I gotta see what you got here.
yeah, you can take a look at the map if you want.
Sure.
Sorry, we're gonna share with the people here. You guys all just hang out for a minute. There's a
Hey, I won't trip on your cables.
yeah.
So,
there's a map right there.
Oh, wow,
This is where it is right now. It's at 18,000 feet.
Wow, it's up there. What? I can't read. What speed is it we're flying at? Doesn't say. Miles per
That's
hour.
over here. It's 17 meters per second. Is how fast it's going. So
How many miles? Oh, you gotta do it
yeah,
first.
17 meters per second is 38 miles per
Oh,
hour.
that's moving along.
Yeah, so it's moving. Was supposed to land. This is the predicted path here.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
It's supposed to land over here, but I think it's going to end up over here.
Wow. That's pretty good.
So
Yeah, the wind seems like it's coming more from the south, but it looks like it's going pretty much east. The flight.
yeah, the interesting thing, like once you get into
Upper elevations?
yeah, when you get into the upper elevations, like they can go completely different directions. I mean, you can see. I don't know if I still have it. We can go back and look for a little while, but let's go back even further. Actually, we can look at this one, but you can see it kind of did a little bit of this waviness,
Yes.
but once it got to here, it made
really
like a
changed.
90-degree angle
Yeah,
to go
that's
north.
pretty.
It makes a 90-degree
incredible.
angle to come back to
Yeah.
the east again.
Wow. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is a little windier than I expected today.
So what frequency are you transmitting and picking up here?
This is 1676 megahertz is where they transmit on. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So big directional antenna that we point
Yes.
at it.
Does it give you your signal strength? I'm looking as you're aiming it.
Yeah, you can see that down here.
Oh. Let's see.
It's still got relatively strong signal.
That's pretty
A little
cool.
bit stronger a little while ago, but
That's awesome.
yeah, pulls it in, filters and amplifies, and then that just turns it into the radio signal for the computer.
I'm worried. I want to look this equipment up.
Sure. Everybody saying hello to you
Hello.
on the YouTube stream.
I got to get your YouTube stream.
Yeah, check it out at OLHZN on YouTube, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. Or you can just search Overlook Horizon on the sticker I gave. See, if you come out and
okay.
see us, you get a free sticker.
All right.
You got a free sticker.
I can get a picture of you and all your equipment. Let's go.
Sure.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
So you work for NOAA?
I do not. Nope. So we're a nonprofit company. We actually launch our own weather balloon flights, but in between, it's a nice opportunity to test our software and recover some real operational flights. So ours have like cameras and stuff on board.
I gotta follow you guys.
Yeah, for sure. We have.
So are you from Buffalo?
No, I
And
live in
so that-
Canandaigua actually.
Oh.
But they launch them from the Buffalo
Yeah, I see
Airport.
that.
So
Yeah.
all of them launch from the Buffalo airports.
So are you the only tracker, or there's other guys out here?
Just me
tracking?
today. Nope. Yeah.
So they told you, hey, we're launching one.
They actually, yeah. So
Coming your way, go look for it.
the Weather Service launches them every day, twice a day at the exact same time. So they know that I do this, but they don't necessarily know that I'm doing this now. So they launch them. They don't recover them. They put them up in the air, and then once they stop ascending, they stop tracking it, and they just let them land wherever they land. And there is a mailbag on them here to send them back
That's pretty good.
if you find them.
So how does NOAA get this information back? I mean, if you need a directional antenna to track it, how do they receive the information?
Yeah, they probably have a nicer antenna than I do. You can use
Or do they have satellite?
They're receiving it actually directly in Buffalo from their ground stations, but they only track it during ascent, which is way easier to track the higher it gets.
Yes.
And so they just receive the radio signals, which also have temperature, pressure, and humidity, but I can't decode those at the moment. But they receive all the data back at their ground station on their antenna and process it right from there.
So does it also have? It must also have GPS it's sending back to them, so they know exactly where it is.
Yep, that's how. Yeah, so that's how I'm getting it on the map here is the GPS. Hi, motorcyclist from Indonesia.
Wow.
This is great. Hi, Mr. Motorcyclist.
Pretty cool.
So you never know who you're gonna find when you're out
Indonesia.
chasing.
I mean, I can't believe it.
We got people watching from Indonesia. I think one of the
I gotta get a picture. I don't know if I can read it.
Taking a picture of the screen. I think one of the radiosondes in Australia can be modified as an ARM development. I'm charging my other phone. Yeah, so we got a whole bunch of people hanging out and watching, waiting to see if we can find this thing.
Wow.
We're at 14,000 feet.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, here's like latitude and longitude coming up here.
Neat.
Altitude. That's altitude in meters. That's altitude in feet.
Wow. I'd be more interested in seeing this on the live stream.
Yeah, it's hard to get that up, but I do publish, actually this map anybody can get, so a lot of people have actually pulled this map up and they're following along with it. Right? You guys are following along with the map that we sent out, right?
So,
Oh, let's see, we got all kinds of people. Southwest UK, Minnesota.
Wow.
Strap that antenna on the bike and go track it. That's what we need.
Yes. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Tell Mr. Motorcycle to get a Periscope account. It says Go Tigers. Germany, hello from Germany.
That's just incredible.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't think all the way from Germany they'd be that interested in our weather balloon here.
I know. I always get kind of surprised that anybody tunes in, but they do tune in and hang out and watch. I always expect to be alone, but I'm pleasantly surprised when there's people hanging out and watching what we're doing.
So your live stream, can I go back and watch it later?
Yeah.
At overlookhorizon.com?
Yep, yeah, so it's on all our social media accounts, which if you go to overlookhorizon.com, that's right across the top. There's links to YouTube, Facebook,
cool.
Periscope, all those, so wherever you prefer, you can check it out.
And what's your name?
Tori.
Tori.
Yeah,
all
nice
right,
to meet you.
I'll have to look you up. Kevin.
Kevin, nice to meet you.
For you too.
Thanks for hanging out for a bit.
Oh, no problem. I'm pretty interested.
We're gonna go see if we can see if we can get this thing. If it'll land. It was supposed to land by now, but it's still taking forever.
14,000 feet.
Yep. We're interested in everything technical and science related. Let's see. I want to make sure my antenna's pointed in the right direction here.
Oh yeah, I'm checking out your humidity sensor here. It's I'm more interested in how that works. Looks like you got a thermometer down below it of some sort. Maybe.
I believe.
And then
I believe this is the temperature sensor that's up here. This is supposed to be just humidity only.
Well, the compute the humidity is one unit. It could be all together.
Yeah. Is it still going around 4 meters per second? Yeah, coming down at 4.7 meters per second is the descent rate, which is kind of slow. Which I don't like. And actually, I'm losing signal here now. What am I at? I'm actually at 2,700 meters here.
So does this tell you how far it is from us right now, like in feet?
Yeah, 23 kilometers from us right now.
23 kilometers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Jason says, take your helmet off and stay a while. Israel's here.
Israel.
We like Tori. He's our nerd in chief. APRS iGate in Wisconsin. Yeah, it is coming. When somebody says good, so it's faster. Yeah, it is coming down a little bit faster here now. It looks like my sonde monitor, which is what powers the map, is not. It's a bit behind. It's turn this up here. My signal's getting a little fuzzy.
I hear it too.
Oh, and now I'm not decoding anymore. So this is about the point where it's going to land. We're going to have to jump in the car here soon.
So do you have a weather station on the underground or something that people can watch? Or?
No, we just launch our own weather balloon flight, so it's mostly about, so it's a non-profit organization, and the idea, or the goal, is to get students interested in science and technology and stuff that's happening in the real world around them.
Yeah, I built my own anemometer back in college, and
there we go, now we got a good signal.
Hooked it to a fluke voltmeter, and every time there's a new wind peak, it goes beep. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you gotta look at the voltage. You know, it stores the maximum voltage, and you look on a chart, and it tells you what the wind speed was.
It's pretty neat. It's awesome.
And I calibrated it by hanging out the window of the car on a windless day, and plotted the voltage speed. And, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, we try. So, like, our flight computer on our flights is built all by us with our Arduino computers and stuff like that.
That'd be interesting.
We build the whole tracking system. And
I got an Arduino.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's our tracking system is all just Arduino based that we build. So Tori also moderates rocket launches. Yeah, so we talk a lot about rockets as well, because they launch.
Watch out! Get your antenna.
Oh no.
It's getting windy here.
We're going to turn it.
Just lost the antenna.
We lost the antenna. We're still decoding. That's good. All right. We had an antenna crash. We're okay. It's windy by you as well. Yeah, it's very windy here right now.
It's probably blowing 20 at times.
I didn't expect it to be this windy, but it is still blowing pretty hard. We're at 1,500 meters. I don't know if the map is updating. It looks like the map is kind of behind, which is pretty typical for that. But we're 1,400 meters, so we're almost on the ground. Tori, tell them to join our Discord. We got a Discord too. If you want to chat with our the rest of our science fans.
Sounds neat. I'll check it out.
Yep. See, we got a new fan involved. He's just driving the bike around, and he saw the giant antenna.
No, well, actually,
flashing yellow
my
light.
wife went by with her bike on the back, and she texted me something interesting's going on down the street.
Oh,
so.
There you go. See, attracting a lot of attention with my yellow lights today.
Yeah, they're very nice.
I'll wait for you at Route 96 and Route 14. Seems to. Oh, okay. There's our other chase. The rest of our chase crew. Wait. Route 14. Now we're coming down. Now we're coming down at 6 meters per second. 1,100 meters. Almost on the ground.
So did this have a big balloon that went up and the balloon explodes and it's been coming down by parachute, or
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that radiosonde here, we'll show it to everybody else so they know what's happening too. In case you just joined, so we're tracking this guy here. This is a radiosonde from the National Weather Service. Official radiosonde. This is what contributes to your weather forecast every day. So they launch 2 of these a day, every single day. And on top of this, there's a little loop that they would attach their parachute to. Here, now that it's windy, we can get this up. Maybe.
No, the wind's up and it blows strong enough.
Come on. There we go. That's close enough. But there's a parachute. It's currently descending under, and at the top of the parachute they would connect the weather balloon to that. And the weather balloon's probably about 6 feet in diameter when they fill it on the ground, and when it bursts at about 27 feet in diameter.
Wow.
And that's a small balloon. So the ones that,
and it's filled with helium?
Yep. The Buffalo station uses helium for lifting. Some other stations in the U.S. use.
I hear it's getting harder to find helium.
Hydrogen. Yeah, our helium price went up like 4 times this year what it was last year.
Hydrogen.
We might be done. Might be landed. 960 meters was the last reading I got here. Oh, there we go. 840 meters. So you're getting a little bit more. There's our altitude right there.
Let's see.
So this is pretty good. We're only probably land at about an elevation of like 200 or so meters. So we're only about 500 meters off the ground, which means we should be able to find it pretty easily. I missed that question. Comment again, because I missed the question that you just said on Periscope. 730 meters. Make sure my antenna doesn't tip over. Is the map updating? No, the map is pretty far behind. I basically have my antennas like in the middle of the road here now, so hopefully nobody runs it over. But we're now
letting the wind block it.
We're now just hanging out in the middle of the road. All the kids using the helium for drug use. I don't know what they use helium for that.
Yeah.
Around 200 balloons every day. Yep, 200 balloons launch every day. That's just in the U.S. They do 200 balloons every day at the exact same time. Twice a day actually. So I guess it's 100 balloons. It's 102 balloons at a time. 670 meters. We're getting pretty close to the end here.
And the distance away, 27 kilometers.
Yep. Oh, there we go. Just picked it up again. 430 meters. We're pretty close to the ground that we're picking this up.
So why don't you stick to feet? Why do you like meters? Is that just the software? You can't just switch it?
Yeah, this software, I can't switch it. It does it in meters. I'm also trying to be more proactive to speak in meters, which is more internationally recognized. I usually talk in imperial measurements, and then everybody yells at me because I tell people how high it is in feet, and then they say, well, I don't understand what that means. Tell me in meters.
Watching from Germany and Israel, yeah.
Yep. 350 meters was my last signal, and it should land at about 200 meters, so it's like 100 meters off the ground. What is your website again? Overlookhorizon.com. My SDR isn't working, so I'll follow you when you get rolling. That's Mike. Mike, are you in the area? I didn't look at your APRS. If you're in the area, maybe I'll see you in a minute. 354 meters.
What's your SDR?
So this is the SDR here. It's a software-defined radio. Basically,
no.
Software-defined radio that basically just takes the signal from the antenna.
See, right at the USB.
Yep. The international audience appreciates the metric measurements. Yeah, I got no signal now, so I'm expecting that it landed. Usually once the signal's completely gone, that means it's on the ground. Kevin, you should follow Tori to the balloon. What else did I see? What's the ground elevation in the area? We're about 200 meters.
700 feet.
Yeah, 700 feet. Yeah, I think we're down.
So what are your other two antennas up there?
Those are the big one is for tracking our balloons, and the smaller one. The smaller one is my my voice radio for communication. So, all right.
Gotcha.
So now we're gonna have to pack up and chase this thing. So we've got a final location here. We're gonna put it on we'll put it on Google Maps. We're gonna chase this thing. We're gonna get things packed up here. See if we can find this. I guess I don't think the map on APRS, that hasn't updated in a while, but my car will start updating here in a minute for tracking purposes. But let's get this on here. Let me get the last location plugged in. I just acquired a new co-host, Motorcycle Man. It's Kevin.
Yes. Kevin from Victor.
Kevin from Victor. He said his wife was driving by, saw the flashing lights and the giant antenna, sent him a message and said there's something crazy going on. And Kevin is a electrical engineer,
yes.
You said? He's an electrical engineer. So flashing lights and antenna got his interest peaked.
It did. It did.
Let's see, let's plug in this GPS and let's see where it landed. Hopefully in a field and not a giant tree. All right, my last position has it in a field. This looks good, this looks promising. All right, we're gonna go track this down. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, north of Geneva, over by Phelps area. Wow, we're 32 minutes. It's gonna take me a half an hour to get there. All right, well, I guess if it's gonna take me half an hour, I'm gonna get on the chase here. All right.
Well, I'll look tonight and see if you found it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Tori.
Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. All right, I'm gonna stay live with you guys.
So that's Periscope we're on?
We're on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook all at the same time.
That's pretty incredible.
So you can go to either any of those three, and you'll see us.
Okay, see you guys later.
All right, thanks, Kevin. All right, I'm gonna stay live with you guys here, and we're gonna get in the car and get moving here. It's gonna take a little while to get there. Let's see. All right, let's get everything packed up. There we go, our motorcycle guest. Here we're bringing some guests into the show today. All right, let's see, how can we do this? All right, who's ready to go pick up a radiosonde? The map says it landed on Maple. Oh, did the map update? No, the map's not up to date here. Yeah, so that map is reliant on my software being able to publish it to the map, which that was struggling to do. So it is in the Phelps, New York area, north of Geneva. That's where, what are you doing? That's what we're doing. We're gonna go pick up the radiosonde that just landed. Unfortunately, it landed quite a ways from its predicted location. So we got a half an hour to go pick it up. Just getting everything packed, and then we're gonna get on the road. All right, let's see, I gotta move you guys so I can get in my trunk. How's this one? Is this any better? Can you hear this one? Is this better? You tell me. Good? Bad? Tell me if this is any better. We'll see if that's any better. This is the other microphone plugged in. This is my backup microphone. It sounds like everybody's saying yep. Assuming that means you're hearing this a little bit. Fantastic, much better. Okay, perfect. Sorry, I forgot we broke the microphone. All right. So now we're on the backup microphone. The question is, how am I going to mount this? So this one doesn't mount directly to my tablet. Should just be able to do, I don't know, something like this or something. Need like some double-sided tape or something. We gotta see if we can find a spot to mount this. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to find I don't know, place to this one. Like I said, it doesn't mount to my tablet, so like the old one did. Might just do that. Did it break when it fell off the car? Yes. The microphone broke when it fell off the car. So yeah, someone sent Tori a flashing yellow light. I got one. There's one up on it. That's why having duct tape with you is invaluable. Yeah, I wonder, I don't think I have any, I don't really have any duct tape or anything of the sort. All right, we're on the move. Put this thing up. Possible, well, I don't think it's dirt in the mic. The connector, so this is the microphone that usually sits and attaches to the tablet. This connector here, got a picture what this is all. Second here. I'm all strapped in. Everybody's saying, I got some people got coffee delivery from mom. It changed, but we'll see. The signal may go in and out here. We got a half-hour drive. I was not expecting that. It's gonna be in and out. This is why you need Starlink, yeah, right? All right, so we're gonna do the best we can with our mobile data here. We got a long drive to go. If you're following on the tracking map, my car should be on the move because my car tracking is still on. We're heading there. I don't know, my buddy Mike from Ithaca, he said he was going to watch the tracking map. It kind of sounded like he was there or in the area. If you are in the area, let me know. But we're now heading to the landing zone. So this is gonna be the tough part of the broadcast because now I gotta drive, so I gotta watch the road. I can't really look at your comments that frequently, but we're gonna see. Oh, I still got my hazard lights on. There we go. Turn those off. We don't need those on anymore. So this landed north of Geneva. See, this is the point where it'd be nice if I could turn the radio on and have a little bit of music while we drive, but we cannot because YouTube will freak out. But you guys get to just chat it up with me. Let's see. Change your mic. Am I still streaming? Yeah, okay, we're still streaming. all of a sudden all the comments went dead. Probably because I'm just driving. You guys are all being safe streamers and not commenting while I drive. But it makes me wonder if I'm still streaming when you don't comment. Or if I just lost, if I lose my data connection. Oh my goodness, we're losing everything in the car here. It's my phone that just fell off the mount. Okay, we gotta back up there. Alright, well I don't know if we're still streaming, because I don't see any comments. Maybe I'm losing the comments, and the comments just aren't coming through. Don't know the answer to that. But, oh, there we go. What's your APRS sign? It's KD2KPZ-9. So that's Kilo Delta 2 Kilo Papa Zulu. Dash 2. Really slow descent rate contributed to that. There you go. Gregorius is sharing the tracking map there. That'll show you the last. That's the last position that I could get on the APRS map. It's really annoying that I couldn't get more. I decoded a lot more positions locally. The sonde monitor was not having it. So the balloon position is old. It was like 14. It's going to take us, we're 27 minutes away. It's a bit of a drive. But like I said earlier, it's kind of a gamble. Like, do you, once I knew it was going to push, track it as long as I could, which was actually really good. I got it all the way down to like 300 meters off the surface, which is basically like landing. It's pretty much the landing point. So I'm pretty confident that we're going to find it, and it looks like it's in a field. Is Mike in the area? Somebody just shared out Mike's call sign where his car is on the APRS map. Is Mike's car in the area? I don't know. He said he told me this. He was going to try to come up this morning, but he sent me a message early this morning that said he wasn't going to make it. So after we recovered the first one last week, I tested the batteries for a long time. So I thought the batteries would only last for like an hour after landing, but to my surprise, they actually ended up lasting. It would come on and then it would lose. It would stop transmitting every once in a while. But it stayed transmitting for like 2 hours. The last position we got was 300 meters above the ground, that's pretty close. It's pretty much like landing. I mean, I can. So it looks like a good tracking this morning. I think max altitude was around 103. Traffic circle. On our way there as quick as we can. It was supposed to land a lot closer to me, but seems like a slow descent, and then it pushed a little further north because it went a lot higher than expected, and then the descent was slower than expected, so it pushed way further east. 10 o'clock in the morning, so we got plenty of time. Plenty of time to find this, and it seems like it's in a field. Oh no, lost my phone again. Crashed into the ground. My phone keeps falling off the mount. It's a magnet. I'm trying to keep everything mounted so I can drive safely without having to stare at the screen or the radiosonde, my car, and Mike's car. Is Mike's car? Somebody tell me. Mike's car. What's going on here? My microphone is a safe way to handle this operation here. Now we can drive safe. All right, we're off. We need some air conditioning. Need the co-pilot. Manage all this. I got it all. It'd be cool if I could figure out a way to live stream my dash cam, which I actually by signal that you can it's probably better off just looking at me. You guys aren't judging my driving skills. I guess I'm getting maybe some connection issues here. That's to be expected. Might get some signal drop. Still got 19 minutes to the landing site. Now the sun's coming out. I don't know where the sun's been all morning. It's super cloudy all morning. Now the sun's finally coming out. It's kind of in it. Whether it's going to come out or not. Accessible. It looked like it was close to the road actually too when I was looking at the last known location. So hopefully if it's close to the road we can just grab it pretty quickly and then we'll be good to go. Top of my stream here, so it's possible that it's probably on my end, not on your end. I am traveling kind of country-ish roads to get out to the landing site, so this connection may go in. Big dog Ken. Do you guys want to look out the window? Let me see if I can try to pull over here, and I don't know if I have the app for my dash cam on this device. Alright, I pulled over. I think I'm still streaming. I wanted to see if I have the dash cam app or if I can get it quickly. I don't even know what the dash cam is not on because I'm powering my computer. Alright, never mind. You get no dash cam. Alright. Yeah, sorry. So you're not going to be able to see out the window. I was going to try to get you the dash cam for next time. It was a good idea for next time. I'll get you be able to do live dash cam right to my phone. No. Did stop the car. Just thought it might be nice for you guys to actually see where we're going, but you're just going to watch me. You get to see the trees all fly past out over my shoulder. The tablet's getting kind of low on battery. Hopefully we don't lose battery power on the tablet, at least not before we get there, because I can always plug the tablet in when we get there, so we don't completely run out of battery. But comments and see what's going on. I'm trying not to. I also ran out of stuff to talk about. That's the best. It really is the best part about this is I know that I don't have to spend a lot of time at recovery. Like when we do our weather balloon flights, you never know. Like, am I gonna? Always the dilemma with our weather balloon flights. But this one, I know it's a short recovery because if it's not a short recovery, then I'm just gonna go home. Next exit. Someone reach out and smack his hands. I don't know what that means. I'm not doing too much. Got my hands on the hands away. 13 minutes to get there. Just get to drive through the countryside on a Saturday morning. Once we get it back, we'll go over what we just recovered. We'll see what kind of condition it's in during recovery. Luckily, this one will be kind of nicer than last week when we recovered in the middle of darkness. At least. And so we'll see. We'll get to see the farmer's field, hopefully. Nice open field. And we'll see if it got damaged at all. We did one of the radiosondes I recovered had a big bash in the corner. But we'll see what kind of condition it's in. We'll get to kind of see the parachute condition. Typical if the entire parachute opens and the faster descent rate just means the parachute got tangled. Maybe they might plan for some sort of tangling of the parachute, which per second seems kind of overkill for this payload size. Like, it does not need to come down that slowly. They could use a smaller parachute. Speed that up a little bit, but if they're planning on it, all right, 10 minutes to go. Poor connection again, kind of in and out. Might be poor live connection, but hopefully once we stop. A lot further than last time. Last time we were only every time, but not so much. Not this time. We're almost there. The connection strength is getting pretty low. So expect the connection to get worse before it gets better. I don't live too far from the city. Much rather go for the farm field recoveries. Be in and out here. We're almost video on. YouTube will freak out. Copyright strike. Turn the radio on. Turn the radio on. I know. I wish I could. Anything I can do about that. I mean, I have to go drive to it, so I'm gonna be in and out of coverage as I'm driving to the recovery site. Sorry, nothing I can. It's to the landing site. Oh, not the FM radio, the CB radio. Well, I do have my... on this way. Which way do I have to go? I have to go this way. KD2 KPZ. Some of the frequencies here. Or local frequencies. Nobody there. But I do have my radio on. I'm at I can go to a different one if necessary, but that's the one I'm on right now. 145.880. So you'll have to remember your comments and comment again once I stop. I'm in a bit of a curvy area. But I do have my regular. I've got my like amateur radio. So 2 meter. Where are you currently at? It's a comment on Periscope. Well, we do have a live tracking map, but I'm I don't know. I'm somewhere north of with the link to the live tracking map. Obviously, I cannot do that right now while I'm driving. But if Gregorius or somebody that's on Periscope wants to comment with the link PRS on for live tracking here. So we're 3 miles from the landing site, 5 minutes away. We're almost there. 145. We're still here and on the edge of our seats. All right, everybody's here. Everybody's with me. Hopefully we got decent connection. 4 minutes away. I think that was my last turn there, so now I just have to go straight for, well, 2.5 miles. Actually, here, before we go up there, let's pull over. We hear it. You might be able to hear it already. With the radio. So this is a directional antenna, which is in my trunk. So the stream is a little patchy, but not bad. I think I've been watching for like an hour. All right. 4 minutes away, 2.3 miles. Looks like there's a lot of trees around. There are a lot of trees, but we got about 2 miles to go. Really behind, the video is lagging. Yeah, it's very possible. It usually has about a 20-second delay to it normally. So a 20-second delay from when I talk to when you hear it is pretty normal. 30 seconds can be pretty normal. If you get more than that, if you're like within a quarter mile, really. Still nothing on radio. Oh, maybe that's just. All right, we're almost. What are we? And then we should be there. Oh, it's coming. The radio's coming to life. I hear it a little bit. Can you hear it? I hear it. We're about a third of a mile away. Alright, so there we go. Now we're getting strong signal. Right in, oh, and I see it. Not sure which way the best way is to approach this. From this direction or we're gonna turn it around because I see the farmer out there plowing, and so I'm gonna go see if I can stop him to be like, hey. In just a second, but there it is. Here now, I'm gonna try to give him a little wave. Every other second you lose connection. How is it so many weather balloons seem to land in the area? They launch 2 a day, every day. So this area. All right, now at the moment, I'm gonna kind of wait for this farmer to loop back around this direction. How are you, sir?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. He was plowing like right next to where it landed.
Ah, okay.
So I want him to
figure it out when he sees a couple of guys with antennas and weird.
Yeah, I want him to loop back around, and I'm going to try to time walking out there so I can tell him why I'm walking out into
APRS, yeah. I saw the last beacon and I couldn't get my SDR working, so I just figured I'd follow you over and, well, actually I'll go back in and see if you can hear it from here. I just built a crappy little dive.
Still transmitting, picking it up, but it'll transmit pretty strongly. Oh, here comes the farmer now.
So after you shut down the stream, if you're bored, I might want to borrow your antenna, plug it in my SDR, make sure the SDR works.
You're gonna be wondering what I'm doing on his property. I'm gonna go say hello to him. Hopefully he doesn't get too upset that I'm gonna walk halfway out here because he's way out here already. Hopefully you guys are with me. I gotta walk faster if I'm gonna time this right. The edge of it. But there he is. Oh, and he's turning back the other way. So either not sure what my thoughts are in either scenario. But here, I'll show you what we're looking at so you guys can see. There's the farmer over there. Trying to get there. I was going to try to stop and say hello to the farmer, or at least let him know what I'm doing out here in this field. Trying to walk on the edge here, so if he did just plow this field, I don't know if you can ruin a field that's freshly plowed. It looks like it was a cornfield at least at one point. I can't imagine this would be from this year. When he comes back. At least let him know. We got a weather balloon laying over there. You can see the orange parachute.
Yeah,
up there.
I see it.
And we're tracking it. We're just hoping to, do you mind if I go pick it up and take it off your hands here?
No problem.
Just figured I'd let you know why some stranger was out walking in your feet. It's actually that's the 7 a.m. weather balloon that was launched from Buffalo, New York this morning from the airport in Buffalo.
Okay.
So
somebody actually goes out and tracks these things.
The weather service does not. I'm part of. I got a sticker. Yeah, we're about.
It has like a GPS kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, we were tracking it. You can't really see it from
I
there.
see you turn around up there like you're you're looking for something.
Yeah,
But okay, very good. We'll grab it. And, so there's more data to receive from it, or
there it. I mean, we pretty much have all the data. What's on board?
so how often do they launch? Every day?
Twice a day, every day.
Wow.
7 a.m. and 7 p.m.
That's a real job to find them.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're out there, and there's 100 stations across the U.S. So.
I rarely ever turn it on, but I see a storm coming out. Or it looks like it's going to storm.
Right. Well, now you've contributed. So that's right there. Just landed on your property here. So.
Okay. Well,
Thank you. That was nice. I'm sure you guys heard all that because I was shouting over the sound of the tractor. Back to the car. But yeah, we're out here, middle of this farmer's field. It's always nice. It's nice when you actually get to see the farmer, the guy that, or the property owner for that matter, because then I can tell him what I'm doing out here, and I don't. So there, that's the radiosonde over there. There's the parachute. So you see radiosonde. Let's see. Can you see my finger? Right there's the radiosonde. So hopefully you're. Oh, we're gonna go. Oh, there's the comments coming in. Intermittent, but we got the gist. Around New York. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, sorry, we're not in a great signal area. The balloon. This is very interesting here, actually. The balloon. So there's like nothing of the balloon that came back. That's it. It's all this really short line between the parachute and the balloon today. Like, that's it right there. Parachute to balloon. That's the entire string length from the parachute. Do the best we can. Set this down and we'll go wrap it up here. All right. there it is. We got it. There's the radiosonde right there. That's this morning's radiosonde flight from Buffalo, New York. Actually, it did not. Right. Awesome. Pretty exciting. I like tracking these things down, especially being that it's in a field. You just pick it up relatively easily. It did get a little bit better cell reception before discussing the payload. All right, sounds good. We'll try to get some better cell reception here. We must not be in good area. We're gonna head back here. Wave to the farmer. Thank you. Alright, on our way back to the car. Apparently it's terrible cell reception. I'm sorry. It's in the middle of a field here. So is this really 17% battery? I gotta race back to the car so I can plug my tablet back in before it just dies. The stream goes offline. That would just be great, wouldn't it? I may have to wrap up here shortly. I don't know if last time I was having trouble with my battery charging the tablet, but we've got a couple now. Now I got 3 of them that we've recovered over the last couple days. It's too bad that I'm in such bad cell service. Even with 360p, I think is what my stream is in. Pretty low resolution. There we go. All right. Made it back. Let me get my battery. Plug the battery in here in just a second. Here's my battery. Low battery. I know it's low battery. I'm trying to find my battery. Alright, now it's plugged in. Hopefully that'll give us a few minutes here to hang out. Alright. We did it. We got it. Recovered. It's pretty easy. I like those. How's the stream quality? It says it's okay. The car. Here, we'll put it up here. How's the stream quality here? Yeah. I don't know if noise is gonna. Still cutting in and out. All right, well, sorry. This is what happens when you're in the middle of nowhere, I suppose. But there we go. I'll probably make this short and sweet because I'm dropping frames. I probably can't adjust the bit rate while I'm midstream. No, it's all good. Okay, Periscope says it's all good. All right, we did it. Recovered. There you go. Relatively pretty good shape here. A little cardboard feet are a little banged up. No big deal there. That nice, right? Nice and easy. Where was yours yesterday? Was it? Oh, it was in the field?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I saw on the tracking that it looked like it was going in the field, but
yeah,
there was a little patch of trees nearby.
Yeah, we got the last beacon at like 3,000 feet, and I basically had to drive around like a square mile block until we picked up a beacon, and it just bingoed it right in the middle of a field.
Nice.
And then we looked at it on Google Maps with satellite view and saw it was just in a field. So we went, knocked on a door. Very nice farm, very nice dog named Bella was there. Big
Farm guy was pretty nice too. I went out and talked to him for a minute. Obviously, you guys all saw it. I don't know how, it might have been choppy, but he was pretty nice. He was interested in it, asking me all sorts of questions. I gave him a sticker and told him what it was. He said he thought some kids left an orange bag out in his field for some reason, but short line. I told them while I was out in the field, but
yeah,
only like this much line between the parachute and the balloon.
Saw that, yeah.
Not very long. Meanwhile, the line between the payload and the parachute is like 30 or 40 feet.
Crazy slow descent on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, not tangled. There was no balloon with it, so it could just come down nice and gently, which is not exactly what I was looking for today, but it's nice. Stream is still choppy. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to wrap up here if it's still choppy. Up the stream here because it's choppy, and I'm probably going to be choppy anywhere in this area for a little while, so I'll just wrap up for now, and then we'll post a video a little bit later. But we got it. It's good. Recovered. We're good to go. Payload could get some wind resistance, and you could get like slack in the line, but that's pretty unlikely because the parachute is a lot lighter than the payload is.
If the parachute slid up closer to the balloon.
Oh, did the parachute slide up? Oh yeah. I don't think so. It's just tied in a knot. I mean, I think that was intentional. Because there's streams. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah. Well, we got it. There we go. It's a successful chase, hunt, recovery today. I'll upload a video later, maybe just explaining what's going on since the stream is cutting out so much. But appreciate everybody. Good to go. We'll do another one of these soon, but I'll post some more videos and pictures later. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you guys all soon.